So you have your scale truck, you want a winch. What's the best winch you can get? Well, you can buy the Reefs 422 servo winch, actually the whole setup and all that, or you can build one. I've done videos in the past building cheap servos as into winches. I'll find that and put that in the description. What I've got here is a Reefs 422 HD out of a Red Cat Gen 8 Axe Edition truck. This is actually the factory servo. And this is what I'm going to convert to a winch in this video. Take a look. Now the game plan with this servo is to actually make it plug and play. Now usually I take the servo apart and I put a JST to where we can control it with a Hobbywing 1060 ESC as a winch controller. Now this servo right here, and I've noticed this on quite a few others, it doesn't really have a pin in it to limit. So there's no pin to take out. What I do have to do is take the top of this loose and get the potentiometer out. That I've got to do. To get the servo apart, remove the bottom. You don't have to take that off, but you can at least look inside of there if you feel like it. And you got to pull those screws out right there. And then at that point, see if I can get it. Try to do this nice and gently. You can get the gear case off right there, which you can see the motor and this piece right here. That is the potentiometer that I've got to get out. The little, get that wire out of the way. Right there. I've got to get that out of there nice and gently. I got that out, and pretty much except for the little bit of white glue per se on there, it was kind of just pressed in. There were no screws. Also pop the top of the gear case off. We can take a look at those. They actually look really nice. Nice and beefy. Should be wonderful for a winch. Now I'm going to power this thing up to verify the center, and basically I'll show you. Okay, so what I have done, I've kind of glued that using some amazing goop. It's kind of dried out. So kind of set a little bit quick. Now I've got it into channel 1 on the receiver, which represents, if you turn the steering wheel, it represents, flipping the channel one direction or the other. Now, one thing about doing this style servo, see that drift right there? These servos are extremely precise. So you may have to mess with your trim a little bit. And I didn't even mess with the trim. I just simply stood the radio up. Let's see here. Anyway, you may have to mess with trim just a little bit. This is a very touchy way to make a winch, in all honesty, just because you can get a little bit of what I call a drift, and the drift is where it's doing this right here. See that right there? And if that's going the wrong direction, you'll be driving and you're like, why does my cable slowly pull out? So why is it dropping? So you got to keep bumping it back in or messing with the trim. And usually trim for channel 3 isn't right at the easy button level. So I've got it back together. Everything is on. Look at that drift right there, just by me moving the radio. That's one of the reasons why we use the 1060 Plus. As much as I like the GT3C, they do kind of have a drift issue. It's usually not bad, but if you have your neutral bandwidth really tight like a servo, you can actually get this. Usually it's never an issue. And I'm doing that with just the steering wheel. So I've got it plugged into channel 1. That's the issue. So
So basically, if you're going to do this, I hope you have a better radio than a GT3C, because they have a bit of a drift issue, and that's the only issue I've had out of them dealing with this. Now the Hobbywing 1060 ESC, like we all use, has a much larger bandwidth, or neutral bandwidth, and that has zero drift at all. It's just servos are extremely sensitive, especially right there at the trim level. So that's kind of why you end up with that.
So the winch conversion went pretty well, actually. So as far as converting it over, I did have to kind of work the potentiometer back up in there just a little bit to make the cavity, because you couldn't get the screws into place. But otherwise, this is actually pretty good, and it worked well with the GT5 on the channel 4. On the GT3C, you guys saw it have a little bit of a drift issue and all that. So if you do this conversion on your 422 out of your Red Cat, just take your time with it and use a glue. Now, the reason I used the Amazing Goop on that gear is this is still usable as a servo. So we could actually peel that glue out of there nice and easy and put this back into use as a steering servo. So nothing was actually damaged in doing this conversion. That's a first for me, because I usually, they are not change backable, if that's even a word. Anyway, guys, check that description for affiliate links. If you are not a subscriber, make sure you click the subscribe button. Also in the description is a link to join the channel. As a channel member, you get early viewing on most videos, no ads. So, and also if you happen to catch something that I slipped up on, maybe I, ripped some gas somewhere, catch that. Let me know so I can re-edit and put the thing back up. Yeah, anyway, that's happened before. Anyways, guys, check that description for affiliate links. Amazon, eBay, and AMain. Especially AMain. Place is absolutely awesome. So if you have something in your cart, come back, click a link, check out. It's that simple. Guys, hopefully you liked the video, and thank you all for watching.
If you guys like what you see, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. If you really, really like what you see, consider clicking on that join button down below. With that, you can actually become a channel member. Members get early viewing of many of the videos and, a little bit more personalized. Guys, thank you all for watching.